What's up, guys? It is your boy MCRulz here, back for another Hero Cantare video. And it's been a little while since I made a video, mostly because there hasn't really been that much content to talk about besides this recent maintenance here with this new hero. And I've really been spending most of my time in Hero Cantare kind of just like grinding out the Fiesta dungeon so I can get the Queen No Name skin, because it's so expensive and it takes so long to get if you do it like manually, which is what I have to do because I can't auto hard mode with my team. But like, yeah, I've been mostly grinding out that. But this new hero, actually, like, I found this guy pretty interesting. First of all, he's on a really good banner for PvP. Like, you've got him and Viole on the same banner. I didn't think they would do something like that because that's a really strong banner. And if you get any of the pity heroes, unless you've already got Viole like fully maxed out, you get any of them, then that's a good pull, because it's not like, for example, there was like the Urek and Charlotte banner. It's like, you know, if you do the pity pull and you get Charlotte, or like the Queen No Name and PU banner, like if you did the pity and you got PU, then it's like, you know, it's a trash pull. But this banner is actually like a really good banner. I'd say this is probably either the best banner we've ever gotten or the second best banner behind the Black Marsh Balm and Kun banner, which is permanent anyway. But his moveset, so as most of you should know, King Dark is currently the complete dominator of PvP. Like, his second passive here, Regression, resurrects himself with 1% HP remaining at the point of elimination, and instantly resurrects, resurrects the hero, resurrects himself with 1% HP, right? And then gives himself immunity for 2 turns. Even, like, you can't kill him. So pretty much, unless you seal his passive, for the first 3 turns of battle, you can't kill him. And then, on top of that, he boosts his own skill damage by 50% of the first attack. Which, if that's his C2, which does pierce damage by 110% attack, and then also inflicts additional damage, right? It's just like, all debuffs are also extended for 1 turn when he uses his C2. So this C2 right here, King Dark, for many reasons, just absolutely dominates PvP. Especially because of this, and this C2 here. But he can, like, you know, if you've got your King Dark built enough, you'll see him one-shotting whole teams. It's insane. But this guy, this new hero right here, is also, like, PvP built. And I saw Uber Green on his channel say that this guy is pretty much built as a direct counter for King Dark. And I saw a lot of people, like, you know, telling Uber Green, you know, he's not a counter for this and that reason because, you know, he can't kill King Dark, right? But I can actually see this new hero here. After a bit of time, there's pretty decent potential of him changing the meta, and I'll explain why after I, you know, go over his skills briefly. So his first attack, you know, his C1 is just an average C1. It does damage, and then it does more damage, right? you know, it's just your average C1. His C2 here, though, inflicts pierce damage to all opponents by 120% attack, and then inflicts additional damage equal to 30% of lost HP. That's cool. Stuns the opponent who has a buff with 70% probability for 1 turn. So he can stun a buffed opponent for that turn. The reason why this is important is because his base speed is higher than King Dark's. Yeah, his base speed is 8 higher than King Dark's, and it's a pretty damn, like, high base speed for a PvP user. So that immediately, this C2, like, you know, makes him really useful for PvP, because if he can get an attack in before King Dark attacks, that immediately puts you at a PvP advantage. Then on top of that, his C3 is, you know, his C3 does wave here, like, so his C3, sorry, is kind of like a hybrid for bombs, except bombs does extra damage to boss opponents. But his C3 is also pretty good. It's also only a 2-turn wave. But yeah, attacks the opponent with the highest attack by 220% attack, inflicts additional damage equal to 40% of lost HP. This lost HP thing isn't great, and I'll explain why later. because he's also got it on his other skills, right? I'll explain why that's not really like the best mechanic for him to have, but you know, it could also be helpful. So his first passive here is, you know, he's got 15% attack, 20% HP, and damage deflection boost, right? So I believe in King Dark's first passive, he's got, yeah, crit hit rate and crit hit damage, which also, he's got a 15% crit hit damage boost in his first passive, and a 10% crit hit rate boost, which means immediately, like, without gear, you've already got, like, that, you know, decent-ish chance to crit. And then on top of the attack boost, it just makes, you know, King Dark's first passive a really, really good boost for PvP. But he's got a 20% HP boost. And if you see down here, his base HP stat is pretty, like, that's a pretty monstrous base HP stat. Like, what's that? Almost 50,000 higher? Yeah, his base HP stat is almost 50,000 HP points higher than King Dark's immediately. But his second passive here is where things really, really start to get interesting, because he gets absolute attack for 40% damage deflection and debuff resist after every time he gets hit. So he gets hit, right? Sorry. He gets hit, right? After that attack, let's say he uses his C2. He gets hit. Then if he gets hit for more than 20% of his maximum HP, he'll remove all debuffs on himself. He'll pierce attack. He'll have absolute attack. He'll do additional damage equal to his lost HP. And then he might have the chance to stun that opponent as well. So that, as an ability, like all those together, makes him a really, really, really strong contender for one of the best PvP units in the game. But what I was saying earlier about his lost HP thing not really being the greatest is mostly because, unlike King Dark, for example, who's got damage immunity, he doesn't have like damage immunity when his HP drops down to 1%. So that means like you can't really maximize this like as much as you could if King Dark had that ability, for example. So his skill set, like his base stats are monstrously high, especially his base armor crash stat at 30% for base. Okay, King Dark's, like, I'll use King Dark for example because that's who we're comparing him to this video, right? King Dark's base armor crash stat is 5%. This guy's is 30%, and he does not have armor crash in his passive, which means if you put relics on him, like if you got PvP like relics on him, like ready for him, and you give him like, you know, let's say you can put on an extra 40% armor crash, let's say that's what you got in your artifacts, right? He'll still have 70%. So that, in like that really, really high base armor crash stat also makes him really, really, really good for PvP. This base HP stat makes him really, really good for PvP. His base defense stat is also like quite a bit higher than King Dark's, makes him really good for PvP. He's got a pretty high base damage deflection stat as well, which makes him really, really good for PvP. Now, for him to be a counter to King Dark, he would have to be able to he'd have to be able to kill King Dark before King Dark is able to kill him, which might be an issue for him because King Dark's stupid passive where he's got 2 turns of, you know, pretty much immortality. But this guy could be paired up really, really, really well with Urek, because Urek has damage immunity when his HP falls below 30%, and he's also got his he's got passive power like seal in his C2. Now, one of the reasons, so Urek has also got a really high like base HP stat, but unfortunately for Urek, I believe his base speed is lower than King Dark's. So King Dark could potentially, you know, one-shot him, which is crazy. He's also got good damage deflection, but his crit hit stuff, you know, it's alright, but like 20% crit hit rate's okay, but it's not, you know, the greatest. His base HP isn't the greatest. He's not really someone that, you know, you can really rely on to stay alive in PvP. But he defends the ally with the lowest maximum HP as well, so, you know, that's one thing. Yeah, he's also got Pierce Attack, but that's C3. If you pair him, however, if you compare him with Jinsung, who's got higher base speed than King Dark, that could potentially, you could potentially be able to stun King Dark. So let's say if it's first turn and King Dark is paired with somebody who gives him a buff first turn, right? You could potentially stun King Dark before he gets his attack off, and then you can passive power seal him, and once King Dark is passive power sealed, pretty much night-night, because then this man next turn will have a higher base speed than him, which means he'll be attacking first, and he'll, with his Pierce Attack and his Absolute Attack, he should be able to get, you know, King Dark, you should be able to finish off King Dark that turn. But, you know, that's kind of like, it's a pretty like specific situation. I don't see this guy really becoming the meta in the game for a while now, because King Dark is very, very heavily invested in PvP currently already, which means putting this guy against like a King Dark, like a triple S King Dark, people have been building their King Darks for months and months now, because King Dark is like running teams currently. So, you know, it will take a while for this guy to really be able to catch up to what some of these people's King Darks can do. But, yeah, he's got the potential, he's got the skills, he's got Absolute Attack, which will make him, you know, that extra damage there. It's a lot of extra damage. What's, King Dark's damage deflection? 24%. Yeah, so King Dark he's got decent damage deflection. He's also got decent debuff resist. But he wouldn't be able to, yeah. With this, he wouldn't be able to resist this stun. That's really important, because if he ignores 40% of debuff resist, he's not going to be able to resist this stun here in Jinsung C2. But, you know, you kind of like, I personally, I'm not 100% sure who's gonna, you know, come out on top after this man's built on teams. But I think this guy's got a lot of potential to possibly, you know, stop the insane King Dark reign that's happening over the PvP world right now, because King Dark is just insane. Like, his 3-turn immortality is just something that should not have happened. But let me know what you think. It's let me know what you think. I think Jinsung, he is also going to be very, very, very good in PvE as well, because of his high HP, he's got Pierce Attack, he's got Absolute Attack, and he's going to be really, really good in PvE as well. And, you know, good speed, he's got pretty good attack, yeah. So let me know what you think. I think this guy is really good. Personally, I would summon on his banner if I had the facilities. If you got essence saved up, then I recommend, like, if you didn't spend it all on, like, you know, Queen No Name or someone like that, I recommend summoning for this guy and on his banner if you don't have Viola either, because they are both really, really good units. I never made a video on Viola. I was going to, but, you know, I just, you know, I don't know what happened. I just never did. But yeah, that's really all that I wanted to say in this video. If you found this video helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I will leave a link to the Elite Gaming Discord. Obviously, I forgot to mention that at the start of the video. But yeah, that's where I'm getting, you know, using the bot. I'll leave a link to that in the description as always, and I will see you next time. Peace.